You run from the fire as if it will claim you. Well, it certainly burns, but the pain will subside. Don't turn from the vapor, don't cover your eyes. See gold that awaits you on the other side. Take that chance, let it burn. There's anything you lose here, baby, you haven't really got. Well, it's not just the burning that makes you clean, it's the screams and the anguish ringing sacredly. So speak to your ancients, let them read in between, tell them all of your secrets, let them set you free. Take that chance, just this once, let it burn, let it burn white hot. 'Cause anything you lose now, baby, you haven't really got. Strip the pages, strip them clean, empty your pockets, let the lightning be seen. Take that chance, just this once, let it burn white hot. 'Cause anything left in your ashes, baby, is all you